I couldn't breathe, and I'm a
fighter.
I needed to sit up. The nurse came and she pushed me. She said, "Diane, down, down." It was pretty scary.
Scary.
Butterflies winging it.
Butterflies, you were super interested in the past videos I've made about my coma, my sepsis, the whole experience, but you were complaining about how terrible the quality and the sound was. And today I am here to deliver because butterflies, your wish is my command. After having my vertical sleeve gastrectomy, my weight loss surgery, my weight loss procedure, the skin around my tummy was saggy. It was really not nice. I didn't like it. It was very much sagging, and I had not even lost half of what I was going for. I started to consider having a tummy tuck. I began watching videos about tummy tucks, and a lot of people were talking about BBL, how it's so cool and it's even better outside of the country because they remove a lot of fat, a lot more fat than they are allowed to do here in the United States. So I started considering medical tourism. Is it what it's called? I was like, let me just do stuff with that fat. I still had a little bit of fat in the back, fat here and there. And those girls were like, fat is good. Like, do stuff with that fat. I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to play with that fat. I'm going to do tummy tuck, lipo, and BBL. I was like, I am going to look brand new. I was going to look brand new. So I thought I was going to look so good. I was
like, yes.
I was thinking this is the solution to all my problems. This is it. That's all. That's the answer to everything. So I kept researching the topic. I went on, I started speaking to a doctor. She had reviews, but not as much. She didn't have that much reviews. So I was thinking, yeah, so you're going to do amazing work on me, and I'm definitely going to talk about you. I'm going to make videos about you. So this doctor had reviews, but she wasn't out there like that yet, the doctor I picked. People may think that I did not research or I did not do whatever people are supposed to do when they're gonna have major procedure. Yes, I did that. I did my homework. I asked a lot of questions. I had a lot of pictures. I did so much before I went in. I was speaking to the coordinator, and she spoke many languages. She was super nice. I speak French. We spoke in French and sometimes in English, whatever way I was comfortable speaking. We will speak. I share her number with my husband. She got to speak with my husband. She was extremely nice. I never got to speak with the doctor because the doctor only spoke Spanish. So I was mostly speaking to this lady, and she was sending me pictures, even about where I was going to be living. Rocio Ortega Recovery House was where I stayed. I looked at picture. I went into their website, and I saw it. I was like, this is it. This is where I want to be. When I'm recovering, everything is going to be just fine. I never saw any video about her or her services or whatever she had done prior. It was just whatever she sent me, whatever the coordinator had sent me that I really had. Like videos she sent me of patients, pictures she had sent me of patients that I had had surgery with her. I never consider getting a travel insurance, a health insurance. I know when you travel, sometimes they offer that at a certain price. And I remember my mom was very much pushing for it. She insisted that if you're going to do it, get some type of insurance. And then at some point, my mom asked me if I had life insurance. I was like, excuse me, why do I need? I had that confidence going in, and I was like, no, I don't need a life insurance. What do you mean, mom? Like, I've never gotten a life insurance. Why do I need to get a life insurance now? No, I don't need this. I'm not going to get a life insurance. And she was like, but then get medical insurance. And she just kept pushing. And I was like, no. I honestly felt like getting it meant that I was hoping that I thought that something, I was too scared, and I thought that something bad would happen. But it really doesn't mean that, guys. You have to do what's best for you. And sometimes having that insurance, and of course, maybe having a life insurance in place is what most of us should do. It's like, why not? Why not having it? Yeah, but at the time I didn't think like that. I was like, no, I don't have any of those and I'm not getting them. It's just as if my mom knew something was going to go terribly wrong or something in her because she pushed so hard. Initially, I was going to go with my aunt. At the last minute, my aunt canceled because she realized that around that period she was going to have some exams. She was taking some courses. She called me and she was like, I'm not going to be able to go. I remember that day because I was at the airport with my husband and she called and I told my husband that I'll go. And my husband was like, no, why don't you just wait when she's done? She said that when she'll be done, you guys can go. And I was like, no, I've already, this is already going. This is already happening. I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to go by myself. Didn't think twice. I was just like, I can do this by myself. I don't need to go with someone. I don't want to depend on someone. Having to totally depend on her makes it so that I cannot be flexible. I had already started this and this is kind of last minute that she's telling me this and it's already time to go. It's almost time to go. No, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go without her. Yeah. The 16th of November 2017, my husband took me to the airport. He was super, super apprehensive. He never thought I needed it. And again, he never even thought I needed a vertical sleeve gastrectomy. He has never been okay with surgery. He's never thought anybody really needs surgery unless they are in terrible health. So he was like, I really don't want you to go. Until the very last minute, he was extremely sad. He didn't want to let me go. And till the very last minute, he was still telling me that he didn't want me to go. Even at the airport, before I left, he was like, I don't want you to go. I'm gonna stop in Miami, Florida this very same day. And then we were gonna continue to the DR. And in Miami, Florida, I had to wait for a long time. It was kind of nice, but I wasn't feeling it like that. I don't know. And I couldn't really pick up what it was. I was like, maybe it's because I'm already missing my kids, or maybe it's because I'm already missing my husband. I remember I was calling my mom. I was trying to sound excited. And I was like, oh, Mom, I'm getting to see palm trees and stuff. I had never ever gone to Florida before, and it's so warm here. But then it was not exactly it. I wasn't feeling it like that. And my mom was like, oh yeah, you get to see palm trees. And my mom seemed excited for me. It was a new experience and stuff. And she was kind of like, oh wow, so you get to see palm trees. And at the time, my mom was staying at my house because of course my husband had to go to work a lot. So she was helping with the kids. So she was at my house for that little while to take care of the boys. Yeah, so I was like, oh Mom, this is amazing. You should see this. You need to see this. And she was like, oh wow, so you get to see palm trees and it's so warm and it's so nice. I'm just like, yeah. But honestly, I wasn't there. I wasn't 100% there. And I couldn't pick up what it was. I still was like, what is it? What is it?
What is it?
And then finally, I got on a plane to the GR. Everything was okay. Everything was all right. I was really looking forward to it. We landed in the GR. Everything seemed okay. But then as I was getting out of the plane, I was walking out of the plane. I wasn't too far. I was on the phone. I had called my husband and I was on the phone. I'm just like, you know what? I'm looking for my travel pillow. I forgot my travel pillow on the plane. And as I'm telling you, I had gotten out, I was still very close to the plane. So I'm just like walking back. I'm just like, this has never happened to me. I never forget things when I'm traveling. I've traveled so many times. I never ever leave anything on the plane. I always make sure I have all of my stuff. So to me, it was just like a ding, ding, ding. And I remember I was telling my husband, I never forget anything on the plane. And I did mention it. I was like, why did I forget it? Why did I forget my pillow? I kept talking about it. I went back thinking that it would be there, and because people are still getting out of the plane. So nobody could have possibly taken it. I know they've not started cleaning the plane yet. And I go back and it's not there. And I'm just like, really? That's like a matter of minutes. Somebody has already picked it up. I know it's not the people working on the plane or whatsoever because nobody's cleaning the plane yet. As I'm telling you, people are still walking out of the plane. And I'm asking them, have you guys seen a travel pillow? Have you guys seen a pillow? And they're like, no, we have not seen one. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. No bueno, not good at all. It's just a pillow. It's just a travel pillow, but just the signs, they were there. The signs were all there. They were showing up from everywhere. As I'm walking out, I started to be apprehensive. I didn't feel like myself as I'm walking out to go to my driver. So I was like, this is strange. I didn't even want to go meet whomever, you know, as you're walking out and people are waiting and stuff, they are waiting, blah blah blah, for their family members, friends, or whomever. And I don't want to come out. I don't want to get out. So I'm just like, wait, I'm just gonna start videotaping this. I'm gonna record this experience. And then so I'm just, as I'm coming out, I'm just like recording as I'm walking. And I'm just looking and looking and looking, and I cannot, because she had prior, the coordinator had sent me a picture of the driver. So I'm just like, where is my driver? So I turn off my phone and I start looking and looking, and I cannot find him. I'm just like, is it me? Is it just that I forgot his face? I'm looking on my phone. I'm just like, where do I start? I don't speak Spanish. What do I do? My phone is not working here yet. I don't have any, like, I'm not receiving phone calls here. I checked there was no Wi-Fi. It was super hot at the airport. I started looking around and I found a couple of young girls that work at the airport. I think they work in the kitchen. And I tried to speak to them. They could hardly understand me. They didn't speak English. We were able to call the doctor, and I was able to speak to the coordinator as well. And they said, oh no, he got the time mixed up. We are so sorry. He's gonna come. Just wait. So I waited. Wherever I was, there was no Wi-Fi. Inside, where I got to speak to my husband, there was still Wi-Fi. But as soon as you walk out, there was no Wi-Fi at all. I need to make this clear because, yeah, I got to speak to my husband. I was still where there was Wi-Fi and where there was the AC was on and everything. So as soon as I walked out, my Wi-Fi wasn't working. I don't know, maybe other people's, but mine was not working. So I was able to find someone, and she let me use her phone, and I spoke to my coordinator, and then I got to speak to another lady, and they were like, oh, he's gonna be coming, he got the hours mixed up or whatever. They tried to explain. They told me something about it. I couldn't understand it because with my coordinator, we went over it like many times. So I was like, how could he get it mixed up? Like, I needed him to be here, you know, because I'm all by myself in this country and I don't speak the language. So I sat there for a little while, and he finally came. He was an older guy, probably in his 50s, very happy, smiley, beautiful, bright face. So it was good seeing him. I felt like I already knew him. He spoke some English, so that was good. I remember as we driving, I'm looking at the ocean, and it's so blue. It is like a beautiful blue, and I was like, I had never seen anything that beautiful before, I was thinking. And honestly, I was starting to feel okay. I'm just like, this is beautiful. I get to see this, my eyes get to see this is beautiful. I was enjoying it, and I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to the good food, just like the very pure, organic, natural, amazing food. I was really looking forward to the food there, I tell you. I get to the recovery house and they do not have a room for me. They have nothing for me. They were expecting me. This had been planned. We had been planning this for like a month. We were speaking all the time. I get to the recovery house. They do not have a room for me. Can you imagine? That was another sign, right? There was so many signs. My driver was late. I lost my pillow. This was like just things were happening. And at any time, I could have made the choice to go back. I could have made a choice to cancel everything because so many things were just off. But I never, ever made that choice. At any point in time, I could have thought, too many things. This does not feel right. My gut is not telling me this is right. But I never did that. I just kept going, you know. I really believe that we always have a choice, and I had made my choice that day. And they're like, we don't have a room for you. And then they're like, wait, we have a room down here, but we have stuff in there for another patient, and that patient is not coming back. And I'm like, what do you mean she's not coming back? What do you mean?
What do you mean she's not coming back?
So you want me to stay in this room with her things and she's not coming back? And I sat there, and finally they're like, oh, there's another room upstairs. And in my room, butterflies, the room I'm going to is a room in a room. And the room I'm walking through, you know, to get to my room, there are patients on the right and left side. And there's probably like 5 beds or maybe 4 beds on each side of the room. And in my room, there must have been like a couple of beds or maybe 3 beds. I don't remember exactly. And I was the only one in that room. The only one. And there was someone else's stuff in that room. Someone else's stuff was in the room I was in, but I was the only patient. I was the only patient in that room, all by myself. And there were other patients in the other room. Was it like planned? Those patients were really nice though. They were really nice because I started having cold feet. And I spoke to someone that she had, my doctor, Dr. Polanco, had operated on. And she was like, oh no, it went really well. She had just had her procedure. And there was another lady who was coming back for the second time. And she was super nice. She was from here. And we spoke so many times, and she was recovering. She was even showing me pictures of the procedure she had done prior, and she said that she loved being in that house. So I go downstairs to have my dinner. Dinner is served. It looks really good. I remember it was rice, and there was green peppers, yellow peppers, onions. It looked very bright. It looked really good. I was getting ready to eat, and it was just not it. The food is just bland. It's like tasteless. Thankfully, in the recovery house, they had Wi-Fi. So I'm calling my sister-in-law. I'm just like, oh, you won't believe this. She's like, what? I'm just like, the food is terrible. I was almost disgusted. I was like, you have no idea. I was looking forward to eating good food, tasty food and stuff, and I'm like, this is a total disappointment. I don't know, for me this is it. Like, when the food is terrible, I don't drink, so what is there to really feel like, I was like, what am I gonna enjoy here? I didn't like the food like that. The juice wasn't it was a natural juice. And I remember going to the kitchen and I was seeing how they were working so hard, and I was thinking, oh, bless their hearts, because this food, no. So I couldn't even tell them that I didn't like the food, because I could tell that they had worked so hard. And I'm sure a lot of the patients there, maybe they like that food. They didn't want something, maybe a little bit spicy, or they were making food so that it could appeal to more people. But to me, it was just not working. They had a table with snacks, so I went to that table and I grabbed a couple of snacks. And I remember they were even men there. They were having like breast surgery, like muscles, whatever. They were having things done. And I remember there was this lady, beautiful black lady. She was speaking to her husband on the phone. I waited, and then she got off and she told me how her procedure went so well, and she was non-resting. She was preparing to go back soon, and everything had gone well. Everybody there was happy. It was like, maybe I'm just, having cold feet for no reason. And there was another room I went to, and it was so clean. The place was like very clean. The bathroom was amazing. I love going to that bathroom. I'm telling you, butterflies, the bathroom was great. Everything was clean. I appreciated the cleanliness of the place. But the food wasn't it. Everything was prepared so that very morning I had to go in for blood work. I forgot to mention it earlier, so this is going earlier. The very morning I had to get some blood work done, X-ray, cardio. I saw a lot of doctors, and it was taking a long time because there was so much going on. There were too many patients, and I remember the driver was taking me to see all those people. Everybody was telling us that everything was okay. They would check me. I had to take my clothes off, blah, 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 put it back on, go to this one, wait here, line up over there. It took a while. And I was totally understood that they had to make sure I'm perfectly okay to have this procedure. Didn't really like doing my blood that day. I had to wait because, of course, I must have been dehydrated. Again, with the trip and everything, it was hard to get my blood, but they got it. The surgery was meant to be early the next morning. I wanted it to be early in the morning because I had heard, watching videos on YouTube, a lot of people, the girls were saying that it was the best slot because then the doctor has not operated on many people. They're not exhausted, they're not tired, they're still like fresh and ready to go. Early in the morning is the perfect time. So I was supposed to be her first patient. When the day came, I remember going to the bathroom, taking my shower, like just being gentle with myself and, trying to convince myself that everything was going to be good, although it felt like it was going to be, I don't know, like the weather even wasn't like it wasn't like all bright and vibrant and just beautiful. It was always a little bit like it was about to rain, but then it wasn't raining. We are going in, it was that day it was going to happen, and prior she asked me to make a payment. I gave her the money and she counted it. Of course, I just, was being myself. I wanted to make sure that if anything happens, that I have a video that shows that I had made that payment. So I took her on video. She felt uncomfortable. I also took the coordinator because she was also there to walk me through this and explain to me what was being told by the doctor. So she was there, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make a little video of you guys while I'm giving you that money, while I'm giving you my
hard-earned cash.
Can I say that? And then came time for them to do some more blood work and actually get me ready to go in. And I remember she pinched me everywhere. I must have been extremely dehydrated, but she was sticking and pinching and sticking and doing whatever you do when you want to get some blood work. And I was starting to get bruised. It was so painful. And I remember making a video. I was actually speaking in French. Jeez, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Jeez, maybe I should have just stayed in the United States. It was like a aha moment, like, oh, like finally she's starting to understand this. Although her gut has been telling her.
Comme j'ai des problèmes de veine, on m'a déjà fait ça sur le bras, j'ai un peu mal. J'aurais préféré on m'a fait ça sur la main au lieu du bras, quoi. Je suis pas très contente par rapport à ça.
¿Cómo te hace dolor? ¿Cuál es la que más te duele?
Et ça va dans mon bras ici. J'avais plein d'infirmières et tout. Ah, ça commence à réfléchir, oh mon Dieu.
Pourquoi est-ce que j'ai fait ça hors des États-Unis?
Todo está listo aquí.
Non, pour le moment c'est ok, quoi, pas une mauvaise expérience particulièrement. J'aime juste regarder mes dents après tout.
A lot of things has happened, but this is she's finally starting to get it. But when I'm getting it is when I'm being pushed. It's basically when I'm going to the room to have the surgery, when I'm just like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. And I'm already like, it's already too much. It's when it's coming to me like, oh, this isn't good. But I'm already being pushed to have this procedure. All those signs didn't convince me, right? Everything that has happened prior did not convince me. I had to have my arm so painful. I had to have my arm hurt and bruised for me to start seeing that this was probably a bad idea. It was almost as if everything that had happened to me started flooding my mind. Forgetting my travel pillow, feeling lost at the hospital, my driver being late, the food being terrible, them not having a room for me. It was just like, all those things were starting to, but it was too late. I had to go. A couple of minutes later, I was being taken in for my procedure. I remember being pushed into theater, and this is as much as I remember. I remember while I was being pushed, I saw her. She was going to wash her hands, and I don't remember really sitting with her afterward. I cannot even tell you how much or if she ever got a chance to finish the procedure, because I'm telling you now, everything later on when I got to see looked really bad. And as I'm sitting here, it's because I'm all the way up here because I could be in intense pain, but I never truly recover. I'm still not like, I woke up in some sort of an observation room where I was being monitored. I was dressed in a compression bodysuit. So I knew then that she had done some stuff and I was in a lot of pain. I could see blood around my tummy, so I knew for sure she did something to my tummy. I was feeling pain, but then yet I wasn't there. I was just like, I was still kind of like, very medicated, but I was feeling some pain. And I just remember the hardest feeling was that I could not breathe. I just couldn't breathe. There was just something very much off. And I remember doctors were examining me. The doctors that I had seen before, they came and they were looking at me. And I remember they were kind of mad at her. They were upset and some were even yelling at her. which I was thinking was kind of strange. And I was just there, and they were just walking in, coming in and out. I was still not understanding what was happening. I just knew that I couldn't breathe. And then I was taken to another room, and I was being examined. I had to wait for the doctor to come in, my doctor, to let me speak to my husband. And I remember in one of those rooms, I got to speak to my husband, and he was just like, what's happening? I was like, I don't know. I cannot breathe. I cannot explain. I'm sure it's nothing big. Every time my husband would speak to me, I would always tell him that I don't think it's anything big, but I could not breathe. And I'm looking at them, it seemed like something is wrong. So I don't know what it is. I just feel like I cannot breathe. But I was still thinking that I'll be okay. I was still not there where I would be like, oh my goodness, this is it, I'm gonna die. No, I was just like, no, I'm sure it's nothing major. I mean, I'm not, it's okay. But my husband he kept calling. He wouldn't let go. I think I was kind of losing my mind also. I don't think I knew exactly what was happening. I don't think I could tell even when it was day or night time. It was really strange. But I remember my husband kept calling. I know he could tell that something was just off, even when I was telling him, oh, it seemed okay. I would speak to him. I was like, I knew something was going on. And every time I was handing the phone to them, they would be like, no, everything is good. Don't worry. She's good. And then they would give me the phone. So my husband at some point asked me, should I come? And I don't remember exactly, but he always tells me that I told him to come, that I said come. And he was like, this is all I need to hear. I need you to tell me if I should come or not. So I finally told him to come, and that was it. So I was just in and out. My arms were all bruised up. And I remember this very night, I don't know for how long I was in that state because I was starting to lose my mind. But I remember this night, it was a very painful night. It was a very scary night. It was really bad. I remember they had put something on me where if I get up, there was an alarm going in the room, and it was extremely loud. If I sit up, because I was feeling that I needed to sit up so I could really breathe. I remember, let me go back. So before that, I remember spending the night in the room. It was pretty calm. It wasn't that bad yet. And there was a lady. I remember this lady. She was the sweetest lady. She was there, super nice. And I was like, oh my goodness, she was so kind. I'm going to make a video of you. I'm going to tell my husband about you. So to tell you this, I didn't think it was that bad. I did not think it was that bad. And I remember telling this lady, you know what? I love you so much. You're being so kind to me. Let me make a video of you. And she felt shy about the video. I don't know. Is it because they knew that something major was going to happen? Is it because they knew that I was going to go? She was like, no, I don't want you to take a video of me. But I was like, that's okay. I'm just going to show it to my husband. Don't worry. Nothing major. And she allowed me to make a video of her and stuff. I really thought she was so kind and sweet, and you were not always meeting people like that, of course. Even nurses are not always compassionate and nice. She was a really nice nurse. Actually, she was even a doctor. She told me she was a doctor, but she was taking care of me that night. They had really young doctors there. The doctors there were so young, beautiful young people. And I was like, really, where am I? Yeah, so she was taking care of me that night. And I remember, and the night after, there's a couple of nights I remember. That night with that sweet lady, young sweet lady. Another night where they had a couple of nurses stay in the room with me. They just had terrible vibe to them, especially the one that was on me the whole time. There were a couple of them, but one was pretty calm. Okay, so what they did is that they didn't want me to bother them. It's as if they just came there to sleep. So they kept giving me blood. They were injecting me, doing stuff on my arms. I had not been drinking. Can you imagine being there and not drinking? But I don't know. They were probably hydrating me too at the time. I don't know what was going on, but they just kept giving me blood. And I wasn't keeping blood in. I just kept bleeding out, and they just kept giving me blood, and I couldn't breathe. And I'm just like, I can breathe. I need to sit up. And I would try to sit up, and that alarm would just go off. And then she would be like, okay, Diane, go back. And I would try to go back. I'm just like, and then she would go back to sleep. She wasn't washing me. She wasn't there to take care of me. She was there to sleep. And I'm just trying to get up again. And the alarm goes off. And she's like, okay, go back now. I'm going back. And then I am fighting for my life. I'm not going to give up that easy. I'm going to fight. I felt like I was in and out of consciousness. And I kept, every time I would wake up and I would look at my arms, I was like, this isn't good. It was really bad. Really bad. And I was like, oh, how am I ever going to, the back, the front. Every time I wake up, I was just seeing things that were horrible. And I was looking at my arms and I was shaking my head like, oh, is it ever going to get better? Is it ever going to look good again? Because I had never seen my arms that way. It was pretty bad. It was bad, butterflies, as I'm telling you. And I'm just like, let me just go back. This is too much. And then that one time as I'm fighting, I'm just like sitting up. This lady is like, Diane, go down. She's pushing on me. She's upset. She's getting upset. She started to push me. And I'm like, no, I cannot breathe. Like, let me go. And she's like, forcing me back. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna give up that easy. No, I am gonna fight for my life today. She is pushing and I'm going back and I'm in and out. And I'm like, we're just like fighting. And it was a very scary, awful, horrible night. From that night on, I don't remember anything. I remember my skin was discolored. I wasn't urinating. I had fever. I was so cold. I had chills. I remember I was just like, I'm cold. I was freezing. And my heart was beating so fast. And although I couldn't breathe, I was always touching my chest. I'm like, why? And my heart is beating so fast. But then I can breathe. I was weak and fatigued, and my mental status was like, although I was not gonna give up, I was fighting. Even if I'm crazy, I'll be fighting. So although I was fighting, but my mental status was like, and maybe it was even good because I was experiencing a lot of pain. So I had to check in and out. Like, I'm not giving up, but yet I'm not staying. I'm not giving up, but yet I'm not staying. I had symptoms of sepsis and I was doomed because even here in the United States, the mortality rate for septic shock is about 40%. In the GR, it's probably higher. We have to bring a lot of awareness around sepsis, around septic shock, guys. We need to talk more about this because we still can recognize symptoms when they show up. And a lot of times it shows up after surgery, like me. It really does happen. This is real. Sepsis is a bigger killer than heart attack, breast cancer, and lung cancer. This blood infection is a fast killer. 1 in 3 patients who dies in a hospital setting dies from sepsis. Can you imagine that? This is real and we need to talk more about it. We need to know more about it. We never know, right? Things happen. 1 in 3 patients who dies in a hospital setting dies from sepsis. So we need to think more about this. Sepsis is a blood infection that can cause septic shock. There are 3 stages of sepsis. Sepsis, severe sepsis, and septic shock, which is what I have experienced. I went all the way to the 3rd one, which is septic shock. So from the story I was being told, when my mom came to get me, she couldn't speak the language and she saw me. She said as soon as she saw me, then she was like, this is really, that was my biggest fear. This is it. She said that I was probably 10 times my current size, okay? My mom said that I was so big. I was retaining water because all of my organs were failing at the time. So she said that I had gotten so big that she just knew I was not going to make it. I couldn't make it. And they told her that they had stopped cleaning my blood. They had stopped cleaning my kidneys. And I'm like, why would they stop if I'm still living? So they stopped because they said that there was nothing they could do. They knew I was going to die. So they turned all of their machines off. And I'm thinking, why didn't just keep them going until my last breath, till I took my last breath and then turn the machines off? How can you take everything off and leave someone to die? So she said that they had turned everything off. She asked why she's still alive? You're saying that she's still alive? And she said that she was still scared too. She was like, you're saying that she's still alive. Why would you take it off? And then they were like, okay, you're going to have to go sleep in a hotel. You're not going to stay here with her. And she was like, please, can I just stay the night with her? And they were like, no, they're going to find her room and the driver and they're going to take her to a hotel. She's not going to stay there. And she said that all she wanted to do was just stay there with me. She didn't want to leave me but she was afraid that they could do something because she couldn't speak the language, she didn't know the country, she didn't know anything. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna go sleep wherever you guys want me to sleep. So and I was just in that room with nothing, basically left to die. Early in the morning, they were able to find a plane and they had already placed the ventilator machine on me. What happened is that maybe they didn't really agree on the prices. And then they had another person fly, which was an amazing guy that they were able to find. He flew from the United States to the GR. The first plane, they took their machine out. I'm going to tell you why. I will have to mention in the next video. I will talk about what that machine did to my mouth, because yeah, it was really bad. They took the ventilator out of my mouth. They had already placed everything. I was getting ready to get on a plane. I don't know what happened. They left. So an angel flew from the United States to the GR. They were able to find another doctor, and I'm so thankful to all the people that worked to make it happen. My sister-in-law and everybody in the background, they worked so hard. They were able to find another plane that flew from the United States to the GR to get me. The helicopter driver said that the reason why he took me to Miami, Florida, instead of Maryland, where most of my family resides, he needed to go higher to get to Maryland because it was a little bit far. But every time he would go a little bit high, I would stop breathing, so he could only fly low. So he took me to Miami, which was the closest to the GR, instead of Washington DC, or instead of Maryland, because I would stop breathing and we were not gonna have that, of course. I was still so weak. They didn't think I was gonna make it. I was just meant to go to Miami, Florida. It was just gonna happen again. I was gonna go back to Miami. I always thought it was an interesting place, and I had to go there again. This is it for today, guys. If you want to hear more about this story, please watch the second part, which is going to be about Miami, Florida, because I was in a coma during the whole flight. And if you've liked this, please comment, like, give me that thumb up. And of course, the notification bell. Do not forget to click on that notification bell. See you next time. Bye, butterflies.